What's up, fellow Go Givers? Juwan Buford here, and what I want to talk about here briefly is all the hoopla and cacophony and chaos around the firing of Sherrone Moore. And forgive me if I'm talking long. I got to get it in before my significant other and the kids wake up, and then it's a wrap, right? Or else gonna start making demands on my time. But here's the thing. I normally don't wade into these types of conversations. I don't. I avoid them at all costs. I don't see the profit in it. Just be honest. Also, I just refuse to comment on other people's personal lives. Like, I have enough, it's challenging enough to remain accountable to values and principles and goals and to be what I need to be for my family rather than spending my time critiquing another man's household and how he chooses to spend his time. Now, let me say this first and foremost. Nothing in what I'm getting ready to share has nothing to do with defending his behaviors, whatever they were, whatever the circumstances were. I'm not here to give a defense of what has transpired and decisions that led to his firing and arrest or what have you. But this is what I'm going to say. And I think this is what was egging me so much where I had to speak up. I just couldn't leave it alone. I saw an image of him. Matter of fact, the image was literally in the corner of my phone because every time I jump on social media, there's something about him. But there was an image of him, I guess, sitting in the cell. And, you know, from little to understand, he went through some type of psychotic or suicidal episode where he tried to harm himself and perhaps others around him. And as I was looking at that picture, I thought about a couple things. Number one, I thought about how hard he had to work to get into the position as a head coach at University of Michigan, a major college. I thought about how exceptional he had to be. I thought about how many challenges and hurdles. Like, for those of you who've ever achieved anything, I mean, for real, achieved anything, become elite at what it is that you do, you know where I'm going with this, particularly if you're an African-American male listening to this, because that's who I'm really speaking to today, the African-American men. But you know the trials and tribulations he had to go through. You know the price he had to pay. You know that 90% of the people didn't want him there as he climbed the ladder to put himself in position to be hired as a head coach. Like, I think about so many other athletes. I think about so many other business persons, entertainers, and the price that, you know, once again, being an African-American man, that you have to pay. Because last hired and first fired is real. The bottom line is it's true. You do have to be 2, 5, 10 times better than your competition in order to get like 1/10 of the recognition, 1/10 of the success, the accolades, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm thinking about so many actors that have just had their reputations decimated and destroyed. I'm thinking about so many African-American men just in the last, I feel like it's almost traumatic, right, to see it, right, where these men have made errors in judgment. They've made a variety of different mistakes. And the extent to which they were held accountable was absolutely devastating when we know, quite frankly, we have people in politics, we have people in every other realm of business and commerce you can think of, they're not held to the same standard, right? But I'm not even here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about how gleeful so many of us seem to be about this man's downfall. How indifferent some of us need to be about this man's downfall. To me, that's what I find the most disgusting. You know, there was a gentleman by the name of Kevin Samuels. Yeah, I'm bringing him up. I'm introducing him to the discussion. Because before he became famous and well known for the type of conversations he was having that oftentimes were involving women in relationships and standards and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He spent a lot of time talking about image. He spent a lot of time talking to men in general, but definitely African American men, about how important it is to protect your image, how important it is to be solid, right? How important it is to have a foundation and put yourself in position to win, right? Because the bottom line is, if you have responsibilities, you have people who are relying upon you, you have people who need you to show up, whether it's family, neighbors, community, whatever the case may be, how heavy a burden and how important it is, right, to protect your image. And he wasn't just talking about you taking individual responsibility. When he says protecting our image, he kind of meant our image, right? To make sure that we give ourselves the best opportunity to have success financially, professionally, as a business owner or entrepreneur, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on and on. And that message has been lost. It's been absolutely lost. There's a reason why I very rarely in my life, with exception when I was young and dumb in my 20s, but since then, very rarely do I criticize men, particularly African American men, publicly. I just don't do it. I don't belittle or bemoan another person's success, even if I disagree with them, even if I don't really care for them, right? Unless they're doing something that is just so blatantly obvious, right? Obviously destructive. And you can tell they have destructive intent, and they've articulated that destructive or nihilistic intent. You're not going to hear me badmouth, clown, or try to tear down another male. Definitely ain't going to spend too much time talking about whatever their family or personal dynamics are. It's like, are you serious? That's not something that men do, right? Not something men are supposed to do. So that's why I believe this is related to entrepreneurship and business, because we just got to get out of the habit of this, right? We've watched so many of our icons get torn down and destroyed. That's not happening in other communities. That's not happening to other people. I mean, we are literally destroying the cultural and socioeconomic icons and foundations of people who produced work that edified us, fed us, that opened doors, that raised the ceiling, that opened the door and made our progress as a community possible. Like, I've sat and watched that over the last several years, right? I'm not comparing the two, but, you know, I just think it's disgusting, right? What happened with watching people destroy MLK's legacy. Absolutely disgusting, right? And there's so many other names. I remember there was a film director who brought a story that needed to be told in the ecosystem about another hero from our community, Nat Turner, that was just absolutely bludgeoned, right? And it's like, once again, it was gleeful. It was like, yeah, let's try to tear this person down to the extent that we possibly can. Let's eliminate them, right? Insane. So in any respect, that's all I had to say. Because, you know, I'm watching these pseudo-intellectuals. I'm watching these pseudo-activists, these people who want to stand as paragons of I'm black, y'all, and I'm proud, y'all, and I'm this, y'all, and I'm that, y'all, and talking about progress and this, that, and the other. And, you know, it's amazing. It's like even they're getting in on it. Even they're getting in on it. It's disgusting. Watching people who are supposed to be the best of us gleefully post online and do these interviews and just give this like terrible accounting. And once again, for me, if you can't tell, I'm really disgusted by this, right? Because it's like I said, it's the glee. And it's like the rewarding that is transpiring for this is like appalling. So any respect. Celebrate success as always. Goodbye for now.